Between rising costs of living, uncertainty, and division in politics, and just a simple curiosity and freedom to explore, more and more people are asking, what else is out there for me? What if I started a new life in a different country and tried something new? The US is the number one country of origin for digital nomads, which is a term used to describe a community of about 40 to 80 million people globally who cross borders and work remotely, sometimes for themselves, sometimes for an employer, and try a new way of life. And in this series, Freelancers Abroad, I am talking to some of them. Today, I am joined by friend of the show and personal friend of mine, D Green, who has been traveling off and on since 2019. He's currently in, where is he actually? I actually need to ask him. He was in Hungary and he's somewhere else now, but I can't remember where. So we'll hear from him in the episode. He and his wife Lauren started a community called Undeterred, which is a community all about helping entrepreneurs reach their dreams. And he and Lauren are always inspirational to me for living out theirs and doing the thing. So excited to chat with him. Let's dive into the episode. D Green, welcome back to the show.
Oh, what's up?
Thank you for being here. Where are you calling in from today?
So we're in Tirana, Albania,
Mm-hmm.
but either tomorrow or the next day we're going to Durrës, Albania. It's by like the sea, so kind of
Mm-hmm.
switching it up a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it was Albania. I was talking to one of my friends about potentially doing some time abroad, and she was saying like Albania is one of the places I think that has the easiest visas for Americans or
Yeah, we
something.
can stay for a year for with no visa. And
Yeah.
from what I've heard, as long as you leave before the year is up,
Hmm.
when you come back, it resets the time. Like I know people that literally go to like Greece or Montenegro or whatever, and then they just come right back, like same day. Like they're just going, eating lunch or whatever, and they come right back and they just like reset. So it's like the only country I've ever been to that gets excited when you say you're Americans. There's some that don't like us that much, and there's some that don't. They're not gonna say anything, but here they're like they get so hype. I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy, but I think we've done a lot for their country, so it kind of makes sense.
That's so interesting. Yeah, that's something I hear a lot about too is like people will be like, "Oh yeah, I told somebody I'm American," and they were like, "Oh, I hate you. What are you
Yeah,
doing to the
normally I
world?"
don't. Normally I'm not leading with that unless they ask. You know what I mean? I'm
Which
not
is
afraid
like
to say it, but I don't lead with that.
yeah, which is obviously, like, not okay, I don't support that because individual humans and citizens are not responsible for their entire governments or
Yeah,
whatever you may or may not agree with, but yeah, so that's cool to hear that you've had, like, a warm reception.
yeah, yeah.
The last time I saw you was, like, in July, and you were
Mhm.
just heading out. I think you were going to Hungary, right? So,
Yep.
can you walk me through what you've been doing since I last saw you?
So we went to Hungary. The plan was to stay there longer. They did this thing where, long story short, they're making it almost impossible for people that aren't from Hungary to move there. It's like super hard. So
Mm,
we had in 2023, I think, me and my wife Lauren had a temporary residency. And then they did this thing where they made it to where like they don't have reunification. Basically, like before, I could be like, "Hey, I have a business," and obviously my wife and daughter is gonna live with me. But now they're
right.
like, "No, everyone needs their own visa." So I could apply for like digital nomad or entrepreneurship, but then they're like, she has to have a job and your daughter has to go to school or get something for herself. They also made Airbnb illegal in some places. Like they're just really making it hard to. We had
Yeah.
this. I don't think I had told you about this, but we had this. We had a friend over. I think the friend was over at the time, and
Mhm.
Lauren was in the kitchen, and she's like, "Yo, there's this guy like outside because we're on the first floor, and there's a guy outside the windows. Can you go talk to him?"
Okay.
So I didn't want to go like side because I didn't. He looked like a homeless guy, so I just
Yeah.
opened up the door. He had like a red eye and a black eye, like he just looked in bad shape, and he kept trying to like reach in the door and stuff.
My
And
god.
so eventually, like I just was like, I was trying to shut the door, and he would like put his hand in there and grab mine. And then eventually he couldn't speak English very well, so eventually I shut it. And later he came with the police and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, they're staying here illegal." We weren't staying at an Airbnb, we had a lease, but
Uh-huh.
he just made like a big fuss. And then our landlord was like, "Oh yeah, that's the thing that police are encouraging some of the people to go out and snitch on people." So
Wow.
he was like, "They're just." I don't know. I love Budapest; is a great city. All the Hungarians I know, like it's a good experience, but I don't, for whatever reason, like the government is just making it hard for like non Hungarians to live there because we had come to Albania before. We're like, let's just go there. It's like usually for all three of us, we eat dinner or like lunch for like $10 or 11 or so. So we're like, let's just come here, focus on building the business, and figure out the rest later.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I wanna talk about that because from what I remember from our conversations, I think that was one of your big motivations for moving abroad. The first time was just kind of the cost of living. Is that accurate? Like, is that one of the big reasons that you
Um, yeah, I think we moved in like the beginning of February or something like this. But in like December and January, we had like 30, 20K months. So it wasn't necessarily like, hey, we have no money and we gotta go somewhere. I know like I think in the beginning of this all digital nomad stuff, that was like the thing, right? Like, oh, I don't really have a business, I don't have a job, so let me just go to like Bali and live on like 99 cents a day or something. So we're like, we have the money, but it just felt like the quality of life. It's like, okay, I'm gonna live in the US. We were living downtown Orlando. I'm gonna spend almost $3,000 of that on rent. Then I
Oh,
gotta
no.
pay food. Then I gotta drive everywhere. So now I have to have a car. I gotta have car insurance. I gotta buy gas. I gotta pay for tolls. And then it was during COVID, so we're like, hey, you can't even do anything.
Yeah.
The thing that encouraged us, because my dream was just like to travel overseas once every 3 months.
Mhm.
But then when we started making better money, and then it was COVID, a lot of, or not a lot of, certain countries had this, I think it was a digital nomad visa or something.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to do. I think it was Barbados maybe. But then as we started learning, we're like, oh, people do digital nomad. So you don't actually have to do all this paperwork. You can just go somewhere. And then when the time is up, you just go somewhere else. So like maybe that would work better. And we had been to at this point like France, Italy, London, Spain, a couple different places. And we went to Mexico before we did this, like for our honeymoon, or not our honeymoon, our anniversary. I don't know, like I remember it was crazy. I was like super nervous about it. And then someone invited me on like a random like Zoom. And then like there was a lady that asked me a question and I was trying to get context. So I was like, oh, what is it that you do? Where do you live and stuff? And she's like, oh, I just moved to like Mexico. And like that conversation, I was like, oh, it was like a side note, but I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going, but I'm super nervous. And she's like, no, like it's actually really safe. Like, it's just like the news in the US, that always tries to make everything feel like it's so dangerous everywhere. So yeah, for us, I think it was two things mainly. It was like the quality of life, but then also wanting to experience different cultures like around the world and meet like different people and just like see what it would be like actually.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you decide on? Because what's the first country that you went to
Mexico.
for Mexico? How did you decide on Mexico? And can you just walk us through, like, for anyone who's listening and is like, "Okay, I wanna follow Dee and Lauren's footsteps." Like, what were the things that you had to put into place before doing that? Like, the
That's a good
logistical steps, I guess.
logistically, that's a good point. So I think it's gonna be different for everybody, and maybe you don't have to do it like this, but I bought like a big whiteboard, like one that you can like put on the wall. And I just thought of like, okay, in order to move, what are all the things I would have to do? So we could see like a checklist, and it wasn't just in our mind because like you can forget that. You could be like, oh, we're ready to go. Oh, you forgot to get your passport, you know what I mean? Or you
Yeah,
forgot like there's a lot of things even now off the top of my head I'll probably forget, but then you're like, oh, I'm not going to be in the US. Where's my mail going to go? So then you're like, I got
right,
to figure out where that's going to go. Oh, maybe I had cricket. So like, that's not, my cell phone's not going to work. What do I do? Oh,
right.
am I going to have Wi-Fi everywhere? Do I need to get a mobile hotspot? Like all the things I could think of. I didn't have we didn't have like chat GPT at the time. Now you can probably like get a list or watch this podcast or watch YouTube videos or whatever I was watching. I would just write it down.
Mhm,
Um, a lot of the stuff that I was learning and that I wanted to do not just to become a digital nomad, but to, I think, improve my life was like get rid of stuff.
mm,
Because I realized that it's not really the stuff. It's not like, hey, it's bad to have stuff. I think stuff gets in the way of people living the life they really want. And so as Americans, like we have so much stuff. And then it's like, I can't, I really want to live in, let's say I really want to move to Japan, but I can't because I have a disco ball in the back. Right. And it's like, bro, like, it's like, and then you buying all this stuff. And it's like, bro, if you would just get rid of that stuff, you would be able to live a better life. But then people are thinking like, what are other people going to think of me if I sell my Tesla? They're going to think that I'm poor. Like if I downsize my house and I realized when I started going to Europe and other countries that they don't care. Like, bro, they're gonna ride a bicycle with a helmet to work. If you do that in the US,
mhm.
people are gonna Like, I remember when I sold my car and I was driving a bike, people were calling Lauren like, "Hey, I saw a D on a bike. Is everything okay?" It's like, "Bro, why can't I ride why can't I ride a bike? We can't ride public transportation in the US." Like, if you're still living in an apartment after the age of, like, 30, it's like,
Yeah.
"Bro, you need to buy a house. You gotta be a homeowner." I started thinking of this, and I think it's easy for people to listen to what I'm saying or hear about minimalism, and you just try to do it. And I think it's very hard, especially like for women, because I think like you guys, I just realized that you guys have way more stuff than us. Like I don't
Mhm.
need a separate makeup bag and different shoes and all the stuff like Lauren. So what we
Mhm.
did is we started taking, instead of getting rid of stuff or selling stuff, we just put it away. And we're
Mm.
like, if we don't notice it's gone after a week, like we probably don't need it. So this was like months, maybe like 4 or 5 months, like before we left. I was
Mhm.
like, all right, let me take this shirt and put it away. Do I think about it? Okay, I don't need that. I just
Yeah.
started doing that more and more. And my goal was like, I just want to carry one bag because it's going to be less struggle and less money.
Yeah.
Or the next thing was like we went to that country. We went to Mexico for a week. So we wanted to test it out. And then the reason we chose Mexico is because we're like, if we don't like it, we can easily go back. Like if you're living in Michigan and you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna go to Australia, and you get
Yeah.
there and after a week, you're like, oh, I miss my family. I don't like this. Like that's gonna cost you how much to come back and how long to come back, you know? And nobody can even come visit you that easily. We're like,
Mhm.
if family wants to come to Mexico, like some of my friends, they came, you know, it's like, hey, well, do you like it there? Like, let us come.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the main thing outside of just like thinking about everything we needed to do. Like we got like a storage unit. We didn't get rid of everything. Like we did this whole like, let's get like rid of our stuff, not rid of our stuff, but let's like remove the stuff that we're not going to use. And then we put it in boxes. So we didn't sell it or get rid of it. And
Mhm.
then we're like, it's there if we need it, but let's just put it away in storage. And then
Yeah.
let's do this. I think we did that for a year. And they're like, okay, we don't need this stuff. Like let's sell like a lot of it.
Yeah. That's smart. I love what you said about like the minimalism piece because that's something that I personally really struggle with is I'm a homeowner. I've got a great interest rate on my house, so I feel like that dictates my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like and I went to this conference and I was talking to this lady and we were just talking about like Florida versus Michigan. We weren't talking about moving abroad, but I was like, "Yeah, I would rather kinda not be in Michigan, it's really cold and, like, I don't know." And she's like, "Why don't you just rent your house out?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, sometimes you don't even realize, like, what
True.
possibilities
True.
there are. Not to mention, also, I could just sell my house. Should I stay in a place where maybe I'm not super happy for, 30 more years versus go live abroad or go live in a different state just because I have a good interest rate. It's about where
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
putting your priorities. So, I think that's such a good first step that I think a lot of people don't think about, and also, I haven't traveled a ton, but, like, I've been to Paris and even London. Stuff is small there. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
Americans are prepared for, like, how small an apartment is, or even just, like, the apartment that I stayed at in Paris, I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, but it was like, the washer and dryer was, like, in the kitchen,
And you're lucky that
and
you had a dryer.
yeah, exactly, like yeah, we're just not used to having, smaller things or less
Mhm.
amenities, so it is smart to start kind of
One
preparing for
thing
that.
to think about is this. I'll never forget this. I think it was a Netflix documentary that was on minimalism. I think it was called Minimalism by the
Yeah,
Minimalist or something.
yep,
And they said in the US, we buy houses based on budget. So if you go buy a house, they're going to ask you what's your budget. And they're
yeah,
like, the smartest way is to buy it based on the space. Like they're like, if you could use a heat map of your house, you're
mhm,
usually in like two or three areas. You're in your bedroom, you're in the kitchen, and maybe in the living room. But then he was like, think about how many different, like because you had a budget of whatever, like you have this extra space. And because you have an extra space, you can't just leave that room up empty. Now
yeah,
you have to buy
yep,
china or you have to buy throwaway pillows. And he's like, isn't that crazy how, and now you have to go to work to pay for that stuff. And in our minds, we're like, yeah, but like you said, I own my house. I have a good interest rate, but it's like, but now you can't go live in, let's say in Florida, like you want to, because it's like it's hard to like once you're kind of in a system or in a flow, like you don't even like really recognize these things.
Yeah,
And I have so many friends that it's like, man, I would really love to travel, but I don't have the funds. And it's like, bro, but you're paying like how much stuff are you paying for like every month and that's in your house if you sold that?
right.
I tell my mom all the time, like, if you sold your house, you could live, let's say in Albania or somewhere for so freaking long. Like it's
Yeah.
like the where we're moving, there were places, this is Airbnb, right? So I think everyone would agree Airbnb is more expensive if you lease something. And if you buy something, normally, I guess the monthly is less.
Yeah.
These are places on the beach, like condos on the beach overlooking the water.
Mhm.
And per month, it was like 500, like 800, like on Airbnb. So I was
Yeah.
telling my mom, I'm like, if you sell your house and you can get it for like 300,000 or
Mhm.
whatever, or you can just either buy a place somewhere else, or I was like, what I would even do is I would just like rent and you can just travel, see how you like it. Like for a year, I
Mhm.
mean, let's imagine it costs you 1,000. That's like 12,000. And then I just said it's $10 a meal for three people.
Yeah.
So that's, let's say $50 a day. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
eating out every day, good food.
Right.
So I think people that haven't traveled, they're comparing it to like living in the US. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's so much more affordable. And like you're walking to places, like you don't need a car, you don't need all this type of stuff. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay, so that's a big first step. What about, I mean, and then obviously there's researching all of everything's gonna be different per country, right? In
yeah.
terms of, like, how long you can stay,
So,
what
so
you need.
I think the first thing that I would say is
Mhm.
like, I think Facebook is a I don't really like Facebook, but I think, like, this was a good place to start.
Yeah.
Maybe school now, but probably Facebook is better. Is,
Yep.
like, if you type in the city if you're going to a big city, that's what I'd normally suggest. Like, if you're thinking about this, don't go to some remote place,
Yeah.
like, go to some big city. Like, I'm typing in, like, Playa del Carmen, and I'm going to Facebook groups. Like, I think watching YouTube videos is it's like if someone's watching this conversation, but they don't know either of us, like, that's a step in the right direction, but if you can get to where you're talking directly to the people that are doing it, even better,
Yeah.
because you can ask somebody, "Hey," let's say I would go to groups for, like, Paris, right? And they're gonna have a whole bunch of groups. It's gonna say like Paris expats, Americans in expat, people living abroad in Paris, whatever. Join these groups, look at the conversations, DM people, get on calls with people, and ask all the questions. Hey, I have kids. Do you know anyone else with kids? Do you have kids? How could I find a job? How do I move? How do I find like it's a lot of stuff. Like you have to find a good neighborhood. You got to know like, do I need to learn French? Do you know any tutors? Like
Right.
I was out before we were going anywhere, I was trying to connect with people.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
almost every time, like if we know, hey, we're going we went from Mexico to Colombia
Yeah.
and we took someone on the plane with us. I can't remember if we paid for them or not, but we definitely paid for like the we are like, yo, we'll get an Airbnb and everything. Like,
Interesting.
and then we had friends there before.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's like people are trying to do this alone. And it's like there's already people that are there that it's like when you asked me to do this, I didn't have to think about it. So yeah, sure. They
Mhm.
would love to I think people that do this, they love to get other people in it because
Right.
they're like, yo, this is such a dope lifestyle that most people don't understand me. And when I talk to someone that wants to do it, like, I'll gladly share. So we
Yeah.
would always try to get in contact with people and they pretty much will just tell you because
Mhm.
it'll be very specific to like where the place you're trying to go.
Yep. That's very on brand for you. You guys, of
Yeah.
course, I'm gonna have G's school linked down below, of course, but he's all about connecting and, using the power of connection to help reach your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to ask you, you kind of brought this up a little bit about like, do I need to know French? Do I need like, okay, Mexico to me doesn't sound as scary because I think for a lot of Americans, at least, we're already like pretty familiar with Mexican culture. Like we all probably had at least
A
a
Taco Bell.
couple Mexican friends growing up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we know the food, we know it's funny too, like, how much Spanish I feel like we all know without even, like, realizing it just because of our
Yeah.
proximity and
I
all of
love how
that.
it took me knowing you for like 3 years to stop asking you if you're Hispanic.
Yeah. Seriously, all of my best friends growing up were Mexican. Um, so it like, that doesn't feel, like, scary or, like,
Crazy. Yeah.
unfamiliar, like, I feel like I could probably fit in pretty easily. But, like, somewhere like Albania, I don't know if I know any Albanians, to be honest. I don't know that I've
Yeah.
ever, I don't know much about the culture, much about the anything, the geography. And so when you're going somewhere that is and it's like to your point, it's so much further away, right? Mexico, you
Mhm.
can in theory, you can drive to a lot of places or at least drive to the border or something. Albania is different. So, how do you go about, like, I don't know, learning the culture, making sure that it is gonna be a welcoming environment for
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Like, how do you select places based on
I'll give a good example. In our community, I've been listening to like Albanian music. So I did a post like, what are some non-English songs that you guys like? There's one guy lives in Pakistan and he was like, here's like an introduction to Punjabi songs. And
Mhm.
it was a song with Ed Sheeran. And I'm
Oh,
like he shared
interest
the other stuff and I was like, oh, this is dope. But for somebody that's like, I listen to a lot of different culture, but for somebody that doesn't, it's like, oh, that it had the same beat, it had different people, but then it was just like someone you might know.
yeah,
So I think it's
interesting.
the same with like traveling. Like if you just go straight to like the stuff they're listening to, you're not gonna know. You're like, what? This beat is different. Who are these artists? But I think you have to find something that kind of like segues you into it. You know.
Mhm,
So I think you should pick a culture that's relatively familiar a little bit. Like Albania
mhm,
is like, I wouldn't tell people like come here for your first time. Like there's a lot of people here that don't you can get around in English, but, like, there's places you're gonna go where, like, they don't really know too much.
yeah,
It's not really the same as, like, American culture, like, it is a lot of different stuff. For, like,
mhm,
Mexico, like you said, it's kinda similar
mhm,
in a lot of ways, and then if you go to, like, London or something like this, right, like,
yeah,
they speak English, it's like a big city.
right,
So I think you try to pick somewhere that's, like, you're already kind of familiar.
mhm,
And familiar could even be, I think, like, hey, I watch a lot of K-dramas. I've been watching them for 2 or 3 years. I'm familiar with the food, like,
yeah,
maybe it's different, but, like, you're kind of familiar with it.
mhm,
So I think pick something that you're familiar with, and then once you get there, like, you kind of meet people that tell you. Like, the way that you know about Albania is, like, through me. So, like,
mhm,
the way I know about Albania is, like, through someone else. And
mhm,
then people like, when we're in Mexico, so many people say, "Go to Colombia," and then people are like, I ended up in Hungary because someone suggested it, but before that, I was in Turkey, which someone suggested. So you kind of just meet people that have been there and they can give you like their actual suggestion. So I think it's kind of like before we had Netflix, that's how we watch movies,
yeah,
like
right,
friends would tell you, hey, bro, go check out this or go check out this. So I think you just kind of start with something that's a little familiar, maybe something that's closer to you. I would probably even tell most people, like, just pick a place that you think you would want to go and go there for like 1 to 2 weeks, then go back home and then see what you think. And then if you like it, then go all in. But I don't know if just going all in from the get go is like a smart idea unless you've already been to a lot of countries.
yeah, for sure. I wanna ask you a kind of controversial question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Let's do it.
But I feel like I saw you post about this, like, I think it might have been before I even knew you, but, like, there's a website, it's called Travel Noir, have you heard of it?
I don't think
It's
so.
it's like a blog specifically for, like, Black American or maybe just Black folks in general, but, like, there are certain places, like, that maybe feel more welcoming to us or that
Yeah.
don't, and I feel like I saw you make a post about how, like, I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but, like, do you take that into account at all? Like, do you look at, like, are there Black people in this country when you're
Yeah.
traveling, or do you not? Like, do you, like,
I think
not
I think
care?
I told someone before. I was like, "Bro, I hope you don't think that just because we're both black that you're like me because you're not."
Mhm,
And I was like, I got to where I'm at not because I was like born a certain way, and that's what I identify with. I identify with all the choices that I had to make in life. So like I remember like in Mexico and other places they do these like, oh, black people yacht party and all this stuff. And I'm like, if the only thing that we're talking about is like our skin color, like, bro, that's not for me. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but I want to hang out with people that it's like we're celebrating like what we're intentionally doing. Like, what type of person are you? What type of life are you living?
mhm,
And I think like, I don't know. I honestly, I feel like that's more like what I look for. Like, what type of
mhm,
vibe do the people have? It's interesting to me. I get that question so often, like, yo, bro, how many black people are there? And I'm like, bro, I don't understand like why that.
mhm,
I kind of get it, but I'm like, it doesn't really I don't really think about that. I
Yeah.
think another thing is, like, I don't wait for people to give me, like, a good experience. I think if you do
Mhm.
that, you're not gonna have good experience in cultures. You're gonna be like, "Oh, the people aren't friendly, they're not warm, they didn't blah, blah, blah." I think if you have the approach of, like, they might not like black people, but they about to like me though, because I'm gonna have that good energy. And if they don't, then it's cool. I want to be someone that can go anywhere in the world, and maybe there's no tall people, maybe there's no men, maybe there's no black people, whatever. Like I want to have a good time. And I also think a lot of the times, like we're making stories up in our head. So, for
Mm.
example, if you go to a cafe and they're staring at you, you could say, "Oh man, they're staring at me because I'm black. They don't like black people." But they didn't say that. So it could be true. It could even be 90% true, but you're still making it up because you don't know for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're looking at me because they never seen anyone as fresh as this. Why? You know what I mean? It's the same thing, but it's
Yeah.
like why not make up a positive thing? Or like they've never seen a content creator before. They've never seen someone recording on their phone. They've never seen somebody so courageous to go to another culture and live and not be affected. So they're
Yeah.
shocked by it. They've never
Right.
seen a woman that looks as beautiful. They've never seen someone with so much high energy. I'm like, why are we
Mhm.
thinking we're like putting negative perception on ourselves. And even if it's right, it's like it doesn't do you any benefit. They'll be like, do people stare at you? I'm like, they should, bro. Like I'm like, why wouldn't you though? You know what I mean? It's like not like in a like, hey, I look good, you should look at me, but it's like you're different. Those of us that step outside the matrix that are doing what we want in life and doing things outside of the ordinary, being in a country where you don't speak the language, don't look like the people, why wouldn't people look at you? That's why I think people have to understand like you're doing something that they probably wish that they could do. Like they just don't understand this. Long story short, I don't really worry about that. I'm more like I want to find people with like good energy. And I think
Yeah.
once you have that mindset, there's just like so many like beautiful people to connect with. But I also think like I think you should do what you like and don't feel
Mhm.
bad about it. So
Mhm.
like that's not for me. I don't feel bad about it. But
Mhm.
if that's for you, then that's for you and stand on it. And then you should be like, I like to be around Hispanics. I like to be around other people that look like me.
Yeah.
Then consider that. But
Right.
I think we're trying to like force it on like everybody. And it's
Yeah.
like Albanians don't have to like black people, bro. You know what I mean? That's like you're in their home.
Yeah.
So it's like if that matters to you, that maybe go somewhere where like you have more of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people ask that for very fair reasons and that, obviously no one wants to go a place where they're going to be like harassed or like
That makes sense. That
experience
makes sense.
violence or that kind of thing. But I mean, I'm just speaking, I have no idea, but like, most places that you're probably thinking of moving most have a way lower violent crime rates than America. So I think
Well, yeah, yeah. I
it's
think
important to note that.
what I realized is like danger means two different things. In the US, danger, like if somebody is racist in the US, like, bro, they might shoot you, they might fight
Hmm.
you, they might kill you, bro.
Yeah.
Danger in other countries is like they don't like black people, so they looked at you in a cafe, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not like they are not about to say something most times. They're not about to
Hmm.
act on it. They
Hmm.
might just you go to the grocery store and they give you a weird look. That's what I'm saying. Like in the US, I get it. Like
Hmm.
it's affecting your life, but it's like if you're living your best life and you go to another country and now you're upset because the person that gave you groceries didn't want to smile at you,
Yeah.
they're not going to say anything. Like 99%, they're not going to say anything negative or do anything. You don't have to really be in fear of like someone trying to fight you or anything. Like looks is
Yeah.
probably like the worst that I've ever heard of.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, well, can we talk a little bit really quick? I don't wanna take too much of your time, but, like, what do you once you're there, how do you make money? I mean, you can talk a little bit about the business that you're building and, like, maybe just anything about, like, how you sustain your lifestyle.
I think there's a couple ways that I've seen, which is people have like a remote job. So you have a job somewhere that hopefully makes like good money, like USD or
Mhm,
pounds or whatever. And then obviously like you can just move. So you just have to like work from whatever time zone. We've just had like an online business, like coaching businesses. We have our online community now. So either we're selling some product or service that people just pay for. They're
mhm.
paying in USD, and then we just spending that money in the countries that we are. So it's like that works out like in your favor.
Yep. Yeah. Nice. Anything else? Any, like, last bits of wisdom you care to share or things that you found to be helpful? while navigating this? Because 'Cause you've been doing this for a long time, off and on.
Yeah, since 2021. I've only been in the I've since 2021, I've been in the US maybe, like, 6 months or something like that,
That's
like,
crazy.
total.
Yeah, and
I
if not
think,
oh, good.
as let's say for you, right? I'm just gonna use you as an example since
Yeah,
it's easy because you gave the example. I think, like, when you are, like, 90, right? Like, are we gonna be thinking like, "Man, I regret, like, I could have had more interest in my home," like, or are you gonna be like, "Dude, I really wish I would've went to that place and lived there and seen all that stuff and done all the stuff that I really wanna do." Not to say like
yeah.
that's what you're thinking, but I think if someone really wants to do this, like, that's what I was thinking, like, I remember, like, when we were thinking about doing it, then COVID hit, and I think Lauren was like, "Oh, we should like, let's just like, rent another like 6 months or a year." And I was like, I think if we do that, it'll be something else, like, every time."
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like, "Oh, well, what about this?" And I was just like, "Dude, like, we don't really." It's like we're kinda living like a video game almost. It's like you just have, like, one shot at this, and if it was like VR, and then
Mhm.
Mark Zuckerberg said like, "Hey, I'm gonna come get this VR back from you, but you never know when I'm gonna come back, so do everything you want." Like, you wouldn't just be playing it safe all the time because 'cause you're like, "I don't know when he's gonna come back. I wanna do the most I can do."
Yeah.
And so I was just like, "Man, why don't we just live life like that? Like, let's go out and experience it." Like, most of the things that we are worried about, like, they're always gonna kinda be there. Like, you can always go to college, you can always get a house, like, you can always do these things. Um, I don't know, I think it's just like if you're thinking about it, I think you should just do it. It's like such I feel like it's one of the most amazing experiences, even if you only do it for like a year or so. But I
Mhm.
think like I would tell people like the first thing is like just book like that short trip and just try it, just see what you think. Um and also I think maybe I don't hear people talk about this. When I say like go for a week, don't be like a tourist. Don't be going to like, hey, I'm gonna go to museums and I'm gonna go sightseeing. Like
Yeah.
pretend like you live there. You pretend like this is my house. Like if I would like go to the grocery store, you know what I mean? Or whatever you do if you live there. Go to the gym for a couple of days when you live there. Find restaurants, like connect with the people, like
Yeah.
pretend like you're living there for like a week, you know, not just like going doing tourist stuff. And then just base your decision off like the data, not like the fear that you have. Like, did
Yeah.
you like it? Like, I think what I'm realizing in life is like there's no way to like get rid of like fear or stress. Like we're so like, oh, I need stability, I need security. And I think there's a level of that, but it's like there's always gonna be something that is stressing us out or worrying us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Hopefully that just pushes like one person like, oh, just try it. You know, there's so many people that can support you along the way. Like if you make friends, if you make connections, like I think it's way less scary than what you're probably thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that point about, like, living like a local. That's my favorite way to travel, and I noticed Paris is, like, very like, it's, like, hit or miss for a lot of people. I hear people be like, "I hate Paris, people are so rude," or people are obsessed with it, and I'm in the obsessed with it category. And I think
Hmm.
one of the reasons is we stayed in an Airbnb. We stayed in, like, the 17th, like, it was, like, far from the city,
Mm-hmm.
and, so we had that, like, neighborhood we had, like, the neighborhood cafe
Yeah,
downstairs. We were in this apartment building, and, like, the neighbors said hello to us and, like, checked in on us, and it was a very different experience than, going to, like, the center of the city, which obviously we did. We did do all that stuff too, but, like, you really get to see, okay, this is what my daily life would be like, not
yeah,
like
yeah.
what a busy weekend at the Louvre would be like. Like, of course you're gonna hate that. That sounds stressful.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I love that point and love the point about finding people to support you. Can you tell people about your group as well? Because maybe they can find support there. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So I guess like so I've had like different businesses. I guess a short way of telling the story. I had different businesses. 2020, I had this dream of like, man, I want to make like 10K per month that way I can travel once every 3 months was my idea. It was super hard. So many times I wanted to give up, but then by the end of 2020, we were making six figures and we sold all our stuff, moved to Mexico, and then we've pretty much been traveling ever since. I felt like I, with the business I was doing, I wasn't like using all of my skills like to the max. Like I was like, dang, if I become famous for what I'm doing or I have the most success, like that's not really what I want to be known for. So I was like, man, I always hear people say like, "Dude, you're living like my dream or the dream."
Mhm.
And people would either not try or they would just give up. And I was like, "Man, there's so many other entrepreneurs around the world that have a dream. Some of them are already chasing it. We should just connect. That way we don't all feel lonely." But then there's some that need help, like actually getting there. So it's like, I want to have a free community for entrepreneurs around the world that are chasing their dreams. Like, let's do it together. Let's inspire each other. Let's meet. Kind of like what we're talking about. Let's share ideas. Like, there's so many things that we have to overcome that are in common. Like, let's help each other. But then let's have something where you can like actually get the help. Like, we bring in people like yourself, right? You did that, I think it was last week, maybe. It's like they talk about the things that they've already achieved. Here's how I did it. Let me ask you some questions. We have like coaching calls, like they have direct access to me and Lauren. And it's just like, and the crazy thing about that now is like, we don't even have like a set price. It's just application. It's like, tell us what your dream is, what you do, how much you would be willing to invest in yourself. And then based on that, like we'll help you. And like that's our thing. It's like we want to help as many entrepreneurs as possible, like have that feeling of like,
Yeah.
dang, I remember having this dream and like now I did it.
Mhm.
So that's like the whole thing. And it's called Undeterred. So
But awesome. Well, it'll be linked down below. Thank you so much, Dee, for your time. Appreciate it, and, always good to catch up.
thank you.